Up next on the Elevated Podcast.
Have you found yourself feeling overworked? Your team isn't hitting its peak marks.
We have to be purposeful and intentional on where we want the journey to go. I went through 20 plus years of corporate America chasing the dollar, the next promotion, maniacally focused on my own success, that I did not take the time to say, what do I want my leadership legacy to be?
You're spending a lot of time doing the work, but it's not getting done the way that you desire for it to get done, and you haven't attracted the right team yet.
I thought I had tons of respect from my team. Turns out I had fear.
You've been drowning in tasks, juggling work, stressed out, pondering how to lead at a higher level.
Leading a team of 5 who was already overwhelmed. And, I can see that person now listening to us saying, well, my boss is not open to challenges. My boss can never be wrong. My boss is not open to me asking good questions. You need to move.
What's good, Elevation Nation, and welcome to the Elevated Podcast, where we provide personal development coaching to emerging leaders so they can thrive in their inner tugging, their it. I'm your host, Christian Johnson. Now, let's go. Listen, I have a very special guest for us today. And for nearly 3 decades, this brother has delivered superior results on our topic of discussion. He is a former senior executive, a speaker, a leadership coach. He has led tens of thousands of employees at some of the biggest companies in the country. This brother has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Inc. magazine, just to name a few, and is the best-selling author of the book Begin With We, here to coach us through in a conversational standpoint around the topic, embracing the we mentality at work and home. Elevation Nation, help me welcome to the Elevated Podcast, the we man himself, Kyle McDowell. What's good, bro? How you doing, man?
Christian, I got to tell you, man, I do a lot of podcasts, and I have never had an introduction like that. You have set the bar, my friend. I am so jacked up to be here right now, dude. Thank you for having me. What an intro.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you on that, man. How are you doing?
Wonderful. I'm wonderful. And hey, I've been looking forward to this one. When I was first introduced to you in the show, this IT thing was new to me.
Okay.
So inner tugging, right? So as I researched you, decided this would be a good match to hang out for an hour or so. I'm like, I have an inner tugging. I just happen to be lucky enough to have identified and recognized it. But what you do and what you and the team do is so important. And I love that you're making it a thing for us to think about and talk about rather than just deny that it's even there. So very cool.
No, I appreciate that. And, I want to even jump right in. And even before we do that, Elevation Nation, it's, I guess, a conversational standpoint. We want to see those comments so filled out with mic drop moments. I mean, when Kyle or myself or something hits you, like drop it in the comment section, not just from hearing the word and the insight from us, but like something that you can say that's powerful. Like put those gems in the comment section so that when people read, they're able to get what they need so they can get clarity on their inner tugging and their particular situations as well. And not only that, right, you guys can go ahead and jump over to the community tab where we have this question that I want you guys to go ahead and answer. And that's, what aspect of leadership challenges resonate with you the most? Okay. So we want to know that as well, as far as like balancing work and life, enhancing team performance, managing overwhelming workloads, or elevating personal leadership skills. So we want you guys to go ahead and do that. Not right now, stay here with us, but afterwards, make sure you check that out as we get into this dope and this deep conversation. Kyle, you said you're inner tugging, man. Like,
yeah.
So you've been processing it. So I gotta ask you the question: What is your inner tugging? What's your it?
Impact, dude.
Okay.
I spent, as you mentioned during the introduction, I spent nearly 30 years in big corporate America, leading massive organizations. And it was by most accounts, Christian, it was a very successful run. And I put successful in air quotes a lot because we all define it differently. And my version may not be the same as yours and others in your audience. But
yeah,
I think one thing that's consistent for all of us is we enter the workforce, whether it's right out of high school, after college, whatever, whenever it works for you. we enter the workforce with a ton of optimism and excitement. We want to make an impact. You know, we have these idyllic dreams of doing really big things. And for most of us, our journey tends to kind of pull that optimism and excitement out of us, and the enthusiasm out of us. And I was no different. So I started to feel this apathy towards the whole corporate machine and environments I actually helped to create, which is the ironic part. And for me, the inner tugging was you have an obligation as someone who leads teams of 10 to 15,000 people. Dude, you have an obligation to make each one, or try to make each one of those people better than they were yesterday. Anybody can manage that many people, but leading that many people to success is a very different thing. So for me, man, it's all about helping people be better than they were yesterday and removing that apathy that so many of us feel by recognizing the inner tugging. That's why I'm so drawn to you, man.
Oh man, I appreciate that, and that's dope. But you make me think about it too, man. You kind of differentiated between like managing and leading.
Yeah.
When I heard you talk there, right? Because even looking into my own life, there are some things that I mean, we all manage, but I'm saying like some things that I'm managing. But I think I've had to ask myself that question: like, am I leading that well? Am I leading that in excellence? Right.
Yeah.
And so when you say that, man, it just makes me think that they're like that management versus that area of leadership, and even the character behind that, Kyle.
Right.
Because we can get results. Trust me, like I'm working with my therapist right now on this result thing I got it so deep that sometimes I can miss some things pertaining to enjoying the journey and the character development through that process. I know you can jump in on some of those things, but like when you differentiated that hit me there. I don't know if you want to jump in on any of that, but that management versus like leadership, give me what?
Yeah, and the two just could not be further from one another. We do a really good job, and I say in this context, I mean companies, I mean organizations, hiring managers do a really good job hiring managers. And the manager, let's not confuse it, right? Manager just means I have authority. I'm given some type of authority over one or more people, but we don't do a great job at hiring leaders. And I think it's about time we stop over-indexing on things like resumes and Ivy League pedigrees and the things that really don't tell the hiring person or the leader of the organization, to use your word, the character, and more importantly, how much the individual cares.
Wow.
Anybody can manage, dude. And I mean that sincerely. And by the way, my leadership style, I should probably say my management style, the first 20 years of my career was very fist clenched, banging on the desk, get results at all costs. I thought I had tons of respect from my team. Turns out I had fear. They feared me. So for me, it's easy to manage. I mean, anybody with authority can say, go do this or else. Yeah. But inspiring and motivating someone to want to do it in a way that delivers excellence, that makes them feel part of something bigger than themselves, that's the real skill. That's where we have to be better across the board.
Wow. No, I love that area. So anybody can manage, right? But that leadership aspect and you know, leading the type of teams and the number of teams that you've had to make those tough decisions, I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah.
And I want to get to the area of your book as well, but it's something that hits my heart and my mindset is, I think when we think about what a leader is, there's this different mindset of what a leader is. I had this conversation with the team that we have about that area of leaders. There were some leaders that I would identify, Kyle, like you're a leader. And they're like, no, just because I don't have the microphone or I'm not the face, like I'm not. No, I'm like, no. You really are a leader, right? So in your way, I just want to know, like, how do you define like a leader? What is a leader?
For me, a leader is someone that cares enough about those around them to invest more time and energy into those around them in their pursuits of development and growth and achievement. Because what I've found, and it sounds cliche, I admit, but it's something I probably would have rolled my eyes at had someone told me this earlier in my career, because I wouldn't have believed it to be true. But the more, right? But age has a way of doing that for us, I think. The more conspicuous you are in terms of your time and care and how much you invest both of those into others around you has a direct impact on the success that you personally achieve. In other words, if I stop focusing on my next promotion, my next bonus, my fancy title, I need some great corner office. If I stop focusing on those things and start focusing on making everyone else around me better, three things happen.
What happened?
If I'm successful, three things happen. Those
Okay.
around me are they improve. They take a step along their journey. They're better than they were yesterday because I'm going to invest my energy, time, and care into them. Our team results also improve because I'm going to give equal access to that motivation and inspiration to everyone else on the team. So the team benefits. And as the leader of a team, this is math now. If members on the team are successful and the team itself is successful, how can the leader not be successful? So your success comes indirectly in a second later, but investing that energy and time into those around you leads to your own personal success. Something that I took 20 years to find, and it was the genesis of my book, because when I did find it, it changed my life, not just my business and professional life, but my personal life as well.
All right. Well, that's some coaching there that we got. Right? Like, I'm gonna need you to give them those 3 points again. So somebody maybe in the comment section, or they're riding along, they're listening, like, give me those things again. Like, cause I'm hearing this we mentality, and we're getting ready to go there, but you're already like, look, it's beyond me. Like, in this area of this success, like, let's stop looking at it from an area where it's just about me. As a matter of fact, that we mindset, like, it begins with we, because like the mindset that your success is the area of my success. And as we, all right, the preacher will come out every once in a while. I know we're here for that, but I'm just letting you know, like, I'm hearing some stuff right there. So give me those 3 points again.
If I am successful, when I invest my time, energy, and care into those around me, here are the 3 things that happen. Those around me are better off for my efforts. They improve. They are another step along their journey. Collectively, those around me that form the team, they deliver better results from a team perspective, because we all have the same motivation and inspiration, because we're all working to do something better than we were yesterday. And then, just by definition, the math alone says if I lead a team of high performing individuals, the team will be successful. The individuals will be successful. Number 3, I am the leader. Sees the success. Now, it's not the only way to be successful in business, right? I can bang my fist on the desk and order people around and bark at people and have lots of turnover and nobody wants to work for me, but I can still deliver results. Like we said a moment, I can still deliver results. But you're not creating followership, and you're doing it in a way that is not sustainable. So when you do invest time and energy and care into those around you, everyone around you benefits, and then you clearly benefit as well in ways that you probably never would have seen otherwise, by the way.
All right. So, all right, I'm gonna transition, and I'm gonna push at the same time.
Let's go.
I know we can do that, right? Because there's a part. Think about the area of inner tugging is connected to me. All right. So, and I'm not talking about the unhealthy way, right? So I'm already looking. I haven't read the whole entire book, but I'm already seeing some stuff, and I know we're kindred in spirit. But I want to put some things out there, because it's not just me and you having a conversation, right? For my own personal journey, I had dealt with insecurity. I had dealt with all types of things that I had to do I needed a whole lot of external validation, all that stuff in the area of leadership I did a lot of work on me, right? So that I can be the best version of me. So my funnel would be like a me mentality that leads to we. So when I found out you had a book saying it begins with we, I'm like, all right, Kyle, let's talk this thing out, because I do get the area of it's about team, but isn't there a me component to it as well? To be like, I got to be the best version of me so we can be we. I know that's bad grammar, but you know what I'm saying. You're doing this, so I feel like you want to jump in. I need to tag you in.
Brother, tag me in. Tag me in.
Tag you in.
My man, you could not be more right. You couldn't be more right. Every journey, whether it's to learn a second language, whether it's to get in better shape, whether it is to level up and be a better leader, starts with a choice. And it starts with choice that only you can make. Only I can. I can't choose for you to be a better leader. I can't choose for you to care more. I can't do that for you.
Wow.
I can do it for myself. So making that choice clearly has to start with me. And I would argue it even happens maybe a step prior to the choice. And that
Okay.
is self-reflection. What am I good
Mm.
at? What am I not good at? Where are the gaps that I need to address? And
Yeah.
again, that and I talk about this in the book, something I call the mirror of truth. And that is, it could be a confidant, it could be a loved one, it can be a mirror. And that is,
Wow.
it's really a metaphor for just taking some time, shut the noise off, turn this thing off, get away from the distractions, and go deep
Yeah.
inside and say, who am I? What do I want to? What
Mm.
do I want to be? What is my inner tugging?
Yeah.
And how? And what do I need to do to get there? So
Mm.
before you can approach we, brother, you've got to recognize I'm making this choice to embark on this journey to be a better leader, pull those along that care to be along, pull them along with me and put them
Yeah.
in better positions. But you're so spot on, my man. It has to start with that choice. I want to do something different and be better than I was yesterday. And part of that involves my desire to help others along the way.
Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and make a financial commitment to support us on Patreon. The link is in the description. Wow, I love it. It's a picture I get is like us being like bridge builders, right? Like we're on one side and I'm there, right? And there's another side where we desire to go ahead and go. And this development, this character, what we're talking about, the inner tugging the area, like we work on ourselves because we got to help build the bridge and get over the bridge. But the bridge ain't for just us. Like it's an area where, like you're talking about the managing and leading, like this bridge is for other people to get to the other side as well. But I like to be a first partaker in this to know not only that this stuff works, right? Because I'm be real with you, and I know we public. Like I've worked and dealt with somebody. Hopefully, past bosses ain't watching right now, but it was just like a jerk type of situation. It was a authority power type of thing. And you're right, you're just leading or managing in a place, but nobody wants to follow. I don't feel like the area team. Now the people that I choose to work with, woo, Kyle, is freedom, is team, is complementary. It's like, and things shift from operating in that place of understanding that mindset of we're building these bridges. When I think other people have made a decision through their leadership and management to burn those bridges. And if I get over, let me go ahead and burn that thing because I'm over, and whoever I stepped on over to get there, whoever I dealt wrong, it didn't matter. It was just about the result and those things, but it's not about the people side. So look, man, like this we thing, I'm in. So tell me, like, what is this we mentality? Like, come on, talk to me about it.
I should probably just share maybe 30 seconds of context to how I stumbled upon it, because this is not, there was no muse on my shoulder and I didn't have some grand epiphany. What happened was I became so apathetic and just disenfranchised with all of corporate America. I got out, and this was way back in like 2016, 2017. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to do next, but I left a giant organization with a giant team, and I got a phone call to take on another giant team, a team of about 15,000 people, leading really, really important work. So the charter was enrolling consumers into the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, and as well as that, also running all of 1-800 Medicare. So really purposeful work, helping people get very needed healthcare. But as I interviewed for the role and learned, there were some opportunities for this organization in terms of culture, in terms of breaking down some silos and just kind of re-engaging people in a way that reminded them of how important the work that they are doing is, but also the role that they play in the work that we do. So I took this role. Fast forward 90 days into the role, I organized the top 40 or 50 leaders in an office. We all got together. My first chance to meet everybody at once. And the night before, Christian, I can't BS you, man. The night before, I was in my hotel room and I had one of these gut check moments. It was like, all right, dude, this is what you asked for. You said if you were going to go back into corporate America, it would be in a way that would allow you to lead in a way that you had never led before and do things that were a little bit unconventional. So I knew it was a gut check moment, and I had to create. Let me set the picture. I'm in my hotel room, and not a very nice hotel room. In that day's, this is probably midnight. In that day's suit that I'm still wearing from a dinner earlier, my laptop in my lap, and I said, I'm going to create a few slides that I'm going to go share with these guys tomorrow to let them know how serious I am about our future. And at that moment, it still wasn't a we thing. It was like, here's how I see our future as a team, right? Well, a couple hours go by, and all I was left with, and again, there's no Hollywood script here, dude. I had 10 sentences in front of me, and I didn't plan this. There was no pre-planning. Each one of those sentences start with the word "we," and they start with something very simple that no one can refute or argue. It's we do the right thing always, because to me that's so foundational. And I won't bore your audience with walking through each of the 10 at this moment, but suffice to say, the message that I tried to create and I think was ultimately successful was, yes, I'm the new guy here to lead this. But you, team, you folks I'm looking at, you guys have collective tenure and collective experience and know this business. You've forgotten more about this business than I know in my first 90 days.
Yeah.
And for us to be successful, we have to do this together. So I was very clear with the following. These 10 principles will be the rules that govern first how we treat each other. Because I was adamant that for us to break down some of these toxic walls and some dysfunction that I've heard about, we have to be high functioning behind the scenes. We have to take care of each other. And once we're good there and we're high functioning behind the scenes, we are so much better positioned to be successful externally. So I thought we can do it. So number one, this is how we treat each other. And number two, I will hold you accountable to these principles. Make no mistake, but I expect you to do the same to me. If you see me, this new boss, this guy leading 15,000, if you see me behaving any way that is contrary to any one of these principles, you're not allowed to call me out. You are obligated to call me out publicly, for that matter. So it was important for me to establish, like, these are the guideposts. These are who we are. These are the rules for how we operate, but it ain't just for you. It's for me. And I'm going to prove it over and over again that this is who we are. Hey man, fast forward. That was 2017. Fast forward now, I guess 7 years later, the 10 we are still the essentially the cultural manifesto for this organization. They have the 10 we awards. Their annual appraisals revolve around the principles still. And I saw the success become what it did, and it compelled me to go bigger. And that's when I ended up writing the book that really goes really deep into each one of the principles, tells a lot of stories of how they came to be, how they continue to work and inspire others outside of that organization, and the thousands other that I've worked with since I left corporate America. And I know it's a lengthy answer, but I want to just insert one last thing because you touched on this at the beginning. The principles became my code of behavior and expectation of behavior for those around me inside corporate America. But the most beautiful unintended impact that I never could have predicted was they now are my manifesto for my personal life as well. I behave, because I caught myself being somewhat of a hypocrite. I would behave in a certain way inside the workplace, and I would come home and behave in a way that wasn't consistent with those principles. I never want to be called a hypocrite. So these principles have been a guiding light for me on my business side, developing great leaders and teams, but also I think they're probably more important in what they've done for me personally.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for getting that to me. I want to pull out some points for people to hear, because you dropped so many mic drop moments pertaining to that. So you said doing the right thing always.
Yeah.
Like that's something that's put out there. And I believe that, again, we're touching base on the area of character as well. And character development, that's my whole thing, personal development. So you can kind of operate from your inner tugging. I just feel like you said some things too that was super powerful. And another role that I have, serving as a director of operations of a local ministry, and consulting with them, I was saying, like, the resume shares with us how they did in the past, but it doesn't tell us who they are now and what they're going to be when they walk through these doors. Right. And so when it comes to that area, that mindset, that's why I love coaching, right? Because if I can identify what your it is, and if it's the area of impact, and I want you to stick around, I'm actually working with the organization to say, hey, let's build around their strengths and delegate their areas of weakness. But their area of weakness is somebody else's it.
Amen.
So it's like whole journey, because it's like, look, this is my thing, but what I'm not good at, it's not trash. It's just that somebody else needs that. And so I have to come to a posture and a place of mindset to say, all right, I need to do the right thing. Sometimes the right thing is I'm not the right one for this role.
Yeah.
Sometimes the right thing is I need help and insight and wisdom to go ahead and get somebody who can. Sometimes the right thing is realizing that the way that we're structured right now as an organization, as a family, like we need to shift the direction because of everything that's going. Because I think sometimes you hire somebody, you do life with somebody. Look, I've been married 16 years. My wife is behind the scenes right now, but it's the area. The woman that I married is not the woman that I'm with right now, pertaining to like how she's unfolded and develop. So how dare I hold her to when we got married 16 years ago, this is the person you were. When I hired you, this is the person I hired. We unfold, we develop. So we have to be in a place realizing that even doing the right thing. And then it's the area where you said too, the internal aspect. That's the way I interpret it, right? Treating us together in the organization, that's internal stuff. Like that's house stuff, right? My mom would always say, what goes on here stays on here type of situation, and the mentality of trying to make sure that culture was good in here dealing with that. Don't you go outside this house and go ahead and act a fool, because that represents who we are on the inside, right? So not realizing that some of those things growing up, it was like, look, how we treat each other in here, we need to go ahead and mirror that thing. We can't be great in here and horrible out there, or horrible out there great out there and horrible in here. So it's an internal area that will lead to an area of external. And then that whole thing too of the me is going to, from your area, it's like, look, I'm going to benefit, but I'm going to benefit by promoting and helping others be the best version of them, and seeing that this is a huge, big picture where those values connect. So guys, when you're listening and watching, like pull out those things, look at your heart and your mind, see, how does this apply to where I am? Do that self-examination. That's where I started. Like, look, where am I at in this journey? Am I so focused on my growth and me being this, or can I realize that there's really a team aspect, right? There is a me and team, right? But it goes together. It cooperates. You want to jump in on any of that?
I don't know that I could top that, man. I don't. I'm not pandering to you.
Do you want to compliment any of that?
Yeah, I'll add on to it, because I don't, with you, I'm not certain if I think everything is intentional with you, because you recognized the importance of intentionality when you make decisions, and what you said that I think resonated most with me is, and I'm going to put my own spin on it, is throughout all of our journeys, when you met your wife, she's a different person than she is today. You are a different person than you were back when you first met. We're all on this journey. Yeah. But we have to be purposeful and intentional on where we want the journey to go.
Oh, that's good, Kyle.
Right? I mean, you just got and for me, I went through 20 plus years of corporate America, chasing the dollar, the next promotion, maniacally focused on my own success, that I did not take time to say, what do I want my leadership legacy to be? Those are two words that a lot of people don't put together. They don't ever use the word leadership and legacy together. Wow. They reserve legacy for guys like Tom Brady or people that have been in the spotlight. So we all have a leadership legacy. If you're in any position of authority or any position where people look to you for answers, whether you're a boss or a leader, there are people at the dinner table talking about you at night. Did you inspire them, or did you not inspire them and create angst and create anxiety and create a situation that's not healthy for anybody? So I think, where you just took us is so important, because you again intimated in pretty direct terms, actually, that choice and how important the choice is. So the intentional nature of making those choices in any aspect of our lives is where all change and progress begins.
Wow. Thank you. I'm thinking about the person who, they're working hard. They're watching this. They're like, look, I hear that. That's good. Kyle, you've led tens of thousands of people. I'm over here trying to lead 5, and I'm trying to deal with this, so forth and so on. I'm overworked. I need a better team. I need all these different things. And now I'm hearing you guys talk about like personal development and all this type of stuff. Like, how does this really connect? Like, that doesn't help me from being overwhelmed. That doesn't help me from doing this and doing that. And I think the heart and mind posture of this person is like, I'm not sure that I'm properly attracting the right people to help work together to help do this. So I'm spent. I'm doing different things. I'm doing everything. I'm so focused on getting there. Like, what would you say to that person? How would you give them a point? What would their starting point in place being? Like, I'm already drained. I'm already tired, right? but I have this vision. I need team. I need help. Like what?
Yeah. And the truth is, if you want to make, and this is not a popular answer, and I think it dissuades some folks from really investing in a better leadership paradigm or a more impactful leadership paradigm, is that it is hard. It creates more work for you than you probably are comfortable taking on at first.
Okay.
Because it's really simple, Christian. If you want the same results, do the same thing. No problem. You want to have better results, and by not just, I don't mean just business results. I mean your level of fulfillment, the level of passion that you engage those with which that you engage those around you every single day, the amount of impact that you make, right? So if you want those things to be more and better, for lack of a better way of describing, then you have to do something different. And I see it in my coaching business all the time. An executive will come to me really exasperated and just kind of beat up because they're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, 13 meetings a day, and they just feel like they're on this hamster wheel. And we go through a series of conversations to first identify, are you comfortable with the level of effort it's going to take because you're already working hard and you're not fulfilled. So to find fulfillment, you can't work less hard. You can't be less engaged. You have to be more engaged. But you have to travel down different paths, different angles, have different conversations than you've ever had. So that first step is, again, making that choice that I'm going to do something different because I want different outcomes. Now, the scenario you described, I think, is all too common. And especially for those that lead 5, 10, 15 people in a massive organization, they feel like they're this tiny fish in a big lake, and they don't have an opportunity to drive change. And that is not true. So what's beautiful about kind of leadership and transformation inside of organizations is, just like someone can come to work every day, be a negative Nelly, always pessimistic, glasses half empty, and drag down others on the team, so too does a positive approach, the brave heart of the office, like, follow me, like, this is who we are, this is what we want to be, even if it's a small little team. Because what happens is, and I've seen it so many times, is when the leader or the boss decides to become a leader and invest time and energy into those around them because they want a different experience. They don't want to exist in corporate America. They want to thrive. A magnetism is created. So sure, I lead a team of 10 people in this kind of little functional area over here, but there's a team, I have a peer down the hall or down the state, whatever, if it's a virtual environment, and they have a similar set of scope but they see, like, we're having fun doing what we do. My attrition is like way lower. I got people that want to stay and be a part of this team. So this magnetism is created. So then the peer looks down and says, man, what's Kyle doing? He's doing something different. I want to learn from him. So we start talking, and now we've created this bigger circle. And this momentum can carry on as long and as hard as you want to work for it. But it's not easy, but it can be done. Now, I'm not naive. I've been in organizations. I've been in organizations where the toxicity runs just too deep. Yeah. And if and that brings us all to this decision. Am I willing to put my head down, kind of drown out all the noise because I need this paycheck, because I have commitments and I have bills? That is not wrong. You do what you got to do, man. We all have to make ends meet. That is not wrong. And then the other side of that is scary. Like, I'm going to get out of this organization. I'm going to go do something different, even if it is the exact same pay or even less pay, because the peace of mind that I don't deal with this toxic garbage is worth it. Either one of those scenarios are scary, and there's no right or wrong. But recognizing that it's too big to change is not failure. It's not giving up. It's preserving your own peace of mind and mental health to go do what you do somewhere else.
No, I love it. I love too. What I keep hearing, I want Elevation Nation to pull this thing out as well, is choice.
Yeah.
Like, you keep going back to that area, and this is going to sound a little corny for some people, but really it's truth. Like, the choice is yours.
Yeah.
Like, there's power in the decisions that we're making. And, you know, if you do what you've already done, you're going to get what you always got. And that's what I'm hearing you say in those situations. Like, isn't that like the definition of insanity, of doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result?
That's
And
right.
so doing the self-examination, seeing where we really are, you know, even being open to coaching, open to sitting with somebody who has a different perspective that can speak what I say, truth and love. We don't need a whole lot of what I'll just say amen people around who are just going to say, all right, Kyle, yes, absolutely. Yes, you should people like Trey. Yes, you should treat your wife and your kids like this. Yes, you should do this. Yes, no. You need somebody to speak truth and love, that you want them to move with you, to share the heart, mind, give you life, give you love, but also be at the place to say, you know what, you're being a jerk, or no, that was wrong, or how about you consider this perspective, and let's move forward and keep people around you to help you shed and to help you continue to go ahead and grow. So I love it. It's the area of choice that we have. Look, every single day we have choice.
Every day.
But what are we doing with the choice?
Hey man, you were transparent enough to admit you have not gotten all the way through my book, but you touched on my favorite of all the 10 principles.
Okay.
It's number 8. We challenge each other. We cannot expect in any team environment for us to be excellent, consistently excellent, and be our best if just one person, the boss, is allowed to issue challenges to everybody else. It just doesn't work. That's why, hey, look at it this way. An NFL team has a 53-man active roster and one head coach. Mm-hmm. If one head coach could successfully lead every player in every functional area on the team, they would. In other words, why do we need an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, a linebackers coach, all these other positions? Because it is technically and mathematically impossible for one person to bring the most out of more than a few. And when you're in that few, not only are you open to challenge, you are obligated to challenge those around you. I'll go back to the Tom Brady and the sports metaphor. When Tom Brady was playing and gave up and was sacked 5 or 6 times, don't you think it's his right or his obligation to call out the offensive linemen who are also professionals? They're there to protect him. Yeah. He is obligated to say, guys, you're better than this. Let's be better than this so I can be my best. So challenges, and it's my favorite of the principles, challenges inside of any team environment should come every angle, up, down, across the level, every angle, because not every person has all the answers. I would add that there is a rule.
What's the rule?
A challenge must be grounded in data or experience, because otherwise it's your opinion. And my favorite example of this is, let's pretend, Christian, you and I are on a team and we're getting ready for this product launch. We just created this fantastic product. We're going to roll it out. And your wife, Lanisha, says, wait a second, I did this product launch at another company a year ago or 2 years ago, or whatever. And this approach that we're about to take, you guys, we're going to stumble. Like this is, we're missing the mark on this. That's her experience. We should absolutely listen to that. Likewise, if she has data to say, hey, if we just invest X amount of dollars on advertising on this platform, my experience shows and the data shows we'll have Y return. We should absolutely listen to that. But if I didn't have that experience that she had, I couldn't challenge you or myself for us to be better. We have to allow them to come from every single angle. And that way the best and most, the best solution wins. It's more of a meritocracy at that point, and not the person with the loudest voice or the most fancy title.
Wow. No, I love that. I think in our world, I look at that too as I've learned this term. I've come out of a conference and it really just shifted me. So I'm gonna give it to you. Manifold wisdom. Manifold wisdom, because the area that manifold is looking at, like as far as manifold on a car or like it's a wisdom that goes in, and then there's a team area and dynamic for the hood helping discern those things, but then it also goes out. And that's so cool. It's that area too where we have to have the team aspect, the we, right? The that's right cool. people to pour in to it. And that's now we're at a posture, and now we're at a place to say, okay, we have the manifold wisdom. So whatever we release from here, it hasn't just happened because of Kyle. It hasn't just happened because of Christian. It happened because we had the right people at the place, respecting them in their different areas. And we come in to get the manifold wisdom so that we can go ahead and release this product that you're talking about. And we're, and it's that area. I think when it just comes from a person just delegating to everybody, we can miss some things. But if we really lead from team in that manifold wisdom aspect, you're right. We save ourselves from some bumps and some pains and some bruises, and we can go ahead and move forward. So
yeah. And brother, the scenario you mentioned earlier, the person leading a team of 5 who was already overwhelmed, and I can see that person now listening to us saying, well, my boss is not open to challenges. My boss can never be wrong. My boss is not open to me asking good questions or challenging them. Then you need to move. You gotta get away from that, because I'm so adamant about this, because I'm not naive when I say challenges must come and go in every direction. That is not going to work in some environments. But when you have a leader who is okay being vulnerable, who doesn't care, is comfortable setting their ego aside in hopes of finding the right answer, that's when it gets really, really profound. Because at that point, it's not me pulling people along. It's all of us shoulder to shoulder walking towards the same finish line. But that's not, I get it. Unless you've made that choice and decision to be a more vulnerable a leader or and open to feedback and criticism, then that's not going to fly. I did take great care to make sure that we challenge each other, had an accompanying we that made it more palatable. And that's we number 9. And that is, we embrace challenge. And we have to be open to challenges, whether it's externally, whether it is a member of the team, whether it's the boss, whether it's headwinds that we're seeing, market forces, whatever. Any thriving organization must embrace challenge. So those two together are my favorites.
I love it, man. And then I'm gonna make this simple on this side to piggyback where you are. But what I'm hearing you say, like, if you can't grow, then you got to go. Like if I'm going to be stuck here in the mentality, and it's one of the parables from one of my favorite passages, talks about the area of like the parable of the trees who want a king. And this parable goes like this: these trees are wanting a king. And so they go to, a fig tree, and they're saying, be our king. And he's like, look, I'm not going to uproot myself just to wave back and forth over you. Right. It gets down to some other trees and they say the same thing. But then these trees go to a thorn bush, a bramble bush, and they're saying, be our king. And he's going to accept the area. But you got to recognize this: if I'm a tree and I try to find shelter and shade under a bush, a thorn bush, then what's going to happen? I'm going to have to lower myself to go underneath that leadership. And I'm also going to, if I embrace it wrong, thorn bush, right? I'm going to get pricked. I'm going to get pain. I'm going to bleed. And I think there's a lot of people who are trees who are working in the area of dealing with thorn bushes as the area of leadership. And that's why they're frustrated and they feel like, no, look, this may be your time to move forward. This may be your time to start your own thing. This may be your time to get a better. If I can't grow and be the tree that I'm called and cultivated and being, then I have to go. So it's that time to realize and recognize that. So you said that, it lit me up from there, and I appreciate that. I have you jump in on that, and then I know we're getting off here. Y'all stay on, because I want Kyle to give us some wisdom before we jump up off of here, and also share how we can follow him and get his book. But go ahead and respond, because I see you stirring.
Yeah, you I need that emoji. I need the mind. And here's what I took away from what you just said, and I am going to, with your license, I will use it. Trees need trees. Right? Trees need trees. If I'm going to grow up and big and strong and have this impact, I can't do it with a bush next to me. I can't do it. I can't do it with my growth being stunted. Trees need trees. We all need, man, that's powerful, dude. That's really cool. That's really cool. I'm going to use that.
Yeah, it's yours. It's yours, right?
Thank you.
It's the same thing too. Lanisha and I, we wrote a book called Water Walkers, right? And it comes from Matthew 14, and we co-wrote it. It's also on Audible and different things like that. Shameless plug. But basically, I had one guy that we were coaching and walking through, and he said to me, and so I took it from him, but it applied to our book. He said, look, you can't be a water walker and getting your wisdom and insight and leadership from landlubbers. Like,
I like that.
Are you going to get in that boat and step out on what seems impossible and go for that thing? You need to be around people who are going to cultivate that mindset, because those who are in the landlubbers, and landlubbers are great. but they want the stability so much that the risk that it's going to take for me to go ahead and do what seems to be impossible, I'm going to miss out on that too. So also speaking to the person that's like, I feel like I'm seeing some things and they're not happening. Maybe you're getting your wisdom, your leadership, and your insight and your coaching from land lovers and you're a water walker, or maybe it's the opposite. I feel like people are super pushing me. They're pushing me. Well, maybe you're a land lover and that's okay. You don't have to be a water walker. Get on the land, get some stability and do what you need to do, because we need those things as well. So we need both, but I think the area of the manifold wisdom will help us to move forward and go to those heights and go to those depths for what we're called and cultivated to do. So that's that.
Well said,
cool,
brother. Well said. Yeah.
You're amazing, man. This was fun. This was amazing. This is awesome. We have to stay connected to go ahead and do some things in the future. Let us know how we can go ahead and get this book of yours and follow you on social media and all those things. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to again express my appreciation and gratitude for you having me, man. It's I do a bunch of these, and this one had my energy level high, and it did not disappoint. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
Bless you, man.
The book is, speaking a shameless plug, the book is Begin with We, 10 Principles for Building and Sustaining a Culture of Excellence. It's a Wall Street Journal and USA Today bestseller. I started the book with the mindset of it being a passion project. We just passed 10,000 copies sold, which is another mind-blowing emoji thing for me. So I love to hear from your audience, your followers. You can catch me at essentially every social media platform is at Kyle McDowell Inc. And my website is 𝐤𝐞𝐲 And I think if I may just give one further shameless plug, but it's with the best of intentions. I don't share those handles, but I'm not chasing followers. I'm not chasing IG clout or those types. I want to make a difference. And some of the most heartwarming and powerful messages I get are from people that have heard me on a podcast. They throw a scenario at me that they're struggling with. I even had a gentleman reach out to tell me that the book changed how he is raising his children.
Wow.
So I share those handles in hopes of hearing from you and maybe making a difference and helping with you, or you helping me along the way as well. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, Kyle, thank you, man. Guys, go get that book. Get the book. Get the book. As a matter of fact, buy one for somebody else as well. Because something about reading books, and I read them and I get them on Audible, and I'm like, look, this is a great book. And then I have to feel like I got to tell everybody else about the book. Like, how about this? Just start your own book club with It Begins With We. Like, go ahead and do that. Maybe Kyle hop on a Zoom or do something. You can connect them and we can go ahead and get this out. Because this message needs to go out to everybody else for us to move forward. These principles are not just in the area of work. It's life. It's holistic approach. So It begins with we, and we thank you for that. Kyle, listen, I love to ask our guests as we conclude to leave us with something from their heart, their mind, their spirit that we can take with us throughout the week. Right. So as they're going to see this episode and then they're going to stay tuned to the next episode as well. But we want them to go ahead and get something from you that you can release for us to go ahead and have an amazing week with. So what do you got on your heart and mind to end this with?
The most simple of advice that has been so important to me, especially the last several years of my journey, I boil it down to 3 words: you be you. And if it's not good enough for someone else, you keep being you. And if it's not good enough for the organization you're in and you feel like you're not that tree, you're that bush, but you want to be a tree, you be you and find a place that will embrace who you are and allow you to be your very best. Everybody else is taken. There's only one you. Capitalize on that you and be the best you can be.
Mic drop right there. You be you. Well, Kyle, thank you again for your time. Elevation Nation, you are amazing. You're awesome. And so you know what to do. Go ahead and make sure that you are liking, you're subscribing, you're commenting, and you are also staying tuned for the next episode. If you like this one, you're going to love what's next. You're amazing. And we will see you our next episode. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, and make a financial commitment to support us on Patreon.